More breaking news here on Dolphins Today. The Miami Dolphins have traded wide receiver DeVante Parker to the New England Patriots, and here are the full details. The Pats get Parker in a 2022 fifth-round pick. The Dolphins get a 2023 third-round pick, and that's the trade between the Dolphins and the Patriots. Can't say this is a huge surprise because ever since the Tyreek Hill trade, there's been a lot of speculation about DeVante Parker getting dealt. And Chris Greer even admitted at the league meetings the other day that DeVante Parker they were getting a lot of calls for DeVante Parker. So we knew this might happen. We knew he might get traded. And now it is official. Again, the Patriots getting Parker in a fifth-round pick this year. The Dolphins getting a third-round pick next year. To be honest, I have very mixed feelings about this. So let's kind of break down the pros and cons of this trade. The clear pro is this creates financial flexibility for Miami to maybe go out and make another move. It opens up a little bit more cap space because DeVante Parker was slated to make over $6 million base salary this year. And I don't know if it's really worth paying a number 4 wide receiver that type of money. He might have been the number 3 wide receiver, but after the signing of Cedric Wilson, you can make the argument that DeVante Parker was really number 4 behind Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Cedric Wilson. So that's a pro, right? That's a pro. A con is you just gave up another draft pick this year. So the Dolphins now down to 4 picks in this draft. Again, the pick that they have acquired from the Patriots is a third-round pick next season, which brings me to another pro. Sure, this season they're going to have basically no draft picks, this draft I should say, but you look at next year, they're going to have a wealth of draft picks. Miami now slated to have 2 first-round picks, a second, and 2 third-round picks in next year's draft. So this year's draft, it's gonna be not much if you're Miami, but next year's draft you're going to have a lot of picks, and I've said time and time again on this channel last week or so that if you can get a third or fourth round pick for DeVante Parker, I think that's good value. Yes, you had to give up a 5th round pick and DeVante just to get the third, but I think that's the good news for Miami. You kind of add to your wealth of draft picks for next year's draft. Here's the biggest con. Chris Greer, could you have traded him to any other team? I mean, you had to trade him to the Patriots. That's the problem that I have with it. And I get it. The Patriots really needed a wide receiver. And again, they're kind of one of the big losers of free agency. You look at what the Dolphins have done, adding weapons for Tua. The Patriots, up until this, had really done nothing to help their young second-year quarterback, Mac Jones. Now you give him a veteran wide receiver in Parker who, had some injury issues last season, only played in 10 games, had an IR stint with the hamstring injury. So that's the problem I have with it, is it is the Patriots. But again, I understand it, because it just did not make a whole lot of sense to pay Parker that type of money to be a number 4 wide receiver. You really don't need him, so you get that out of the way, right? You didn't need him, number 1. Number 2, you really clear some cap space, and maybe they'll make a big move in terms of getting a bigger need filled, right? Maybe J.C. Treader is that guy. Maybe there's a surprise free agent on the way that they're kind of eyeing that we don't know about that might be a linebacker or might fill another need on this team. But your wide receiver room, even without DeVante Parker, is still really, really good. Obviously, I don't think Ced Wilson is being talked enough about. It's funny, I think the 2 Dallas Cowboys that Miami has gone out and gotten this offseason, Connor Williams and Cedric Wilson, 2 of the more underrated free agency signings, not just on the Dolphins, but in the NFL. Connor Williams, one of the best left guards in the NFL. Cedric Wilson is just a fantastic weapon in the slot. So you're going to be able to put, let's say Hill on the left side, Waddle on the right side, Wilson kind of in between those two, and let Tua go to work. Not to mention Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds and Myles Gaskin in the backfield. So overall, it's been a fantastic offseason for Miami. We knew a DeVante Parker trade might come. We didn't know what it could look like. I figured that if they trade him, they're probably going to get, a sixth or a seventh round pick back, at best a fifth round pick. So you give him and a fifth round pick for a third round pick next year. So, not a whole lot of draft picks for Miami in this year's draft, but what did the Rams general manager, Les Snead, wear to the Rams Super Bowl parade? Screw them picks. That's the PG version of the shirt that he wore. So, look, draft picks are obviously valuable. They're a great way to build your team. But with the moves that the Miami Dolphins have made this offseason, so what that they only have a couple picks in this year's draft, right? I mean, they've added so many different weapons for Tua, and you've seen a 9-8 team that was this close to making the playoffs last season, that won 8 of their last 9 regular season games, get significantly better, right? So that's why I really don't care too much about the draft picks. You weren't going to go get a Tyreek Hill pick number 29 overall or somewhere in the second round or third round. I mean, Tyreek Hill, you had to make that move. You had to give up your first and second round picks to make that happen. It's going to be interesting to see more details about this come out, kind of how this trade went down. Again, Dolphins just now have 4 picks in this draft. Parker has 2 years remaining on his contract, and it's interesting because the third round pick that New England is giving up here is compensation after losing J.C. Jackson. So they lose J.C. Jackson and basically add DeVante Parker and a 5th round pick. Those are the details of this trade. So we knew it might happen. It's finally official. DeVante has been a Dolphin his entire career. Now he's going to our biggest rival. So we wish him no, we don't wish him the best. We hope he goes 0-17 next year. But those are the full details. DeVante traded to the New England Patriots. Again, if you have not hit that big red subscribe button, please do so right now. It's my day off, but you know what? I'm still going to bring you Dolphins content. Maybe JC Treader by the end of the day. Hashtag JC to Miami. Let's try to make that happen. That'd be a great finale to this Dolphins free agency. DeVante Parker trade to the Patriots. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like it, if you dislike it, let me know. But again, DeVante traded to New England for a 3rd round pick. DeVante and a 5th round pick going to the New England Patriots.